Anna opened her eyes in the semi-darkness of the cave. Cold stone beneath her back, the smell of dampness and something wild, primitive. Sophia and Artyom were quietly breathing beside her, wrapped in her old coat, and at the entrance, like a sentinel, lay the white wolf. Its fur shimmered silver in the dim light of the embers, its eyes human, too meaningful for a beast. It looked at her unblinking, without aggression, without fear, as if waiting for her to remember. "Mom," whispered Sophia, rising on her elbows. "He's still here." Anna pressed her daughter close. Memories surged in waves, Dimitri's shouts, the slam of the door, the blizzard, the flight into the dark forest, and this beast that led them out of the snowy hell. "Don't be afraid, darling," Anna said softly, though she herself trembled, not from cold. "He helped us." The wolf stood up, stretched, and slowly headed towards the exit. It turned back, its gaze clear as a command, "Follow." "Mom, where is he going?" Artyom rubbed his eyes with his fists, his voice sleepy and trusting. "I don't know, my dear." Anna gathered the remaining things, a piece of bread, a thermos with cold tea, an old family photograph. "But we need to go." Beyond the cave's threshold, the world gleamed with pristine whiteness. The blizzard had subsided, leaving behind waist-deep snowdrifts. Trees stood like enchanted giants, branches bent under the weight of the snow, and everywhere, on the bark of old fir trees, strange signs glowed, runes. They pulsed with a faint bluish light, as if alive. Sophia gasped, pointing to the nearest tree. "Mom, look, the letters are glowing." "These aren't letters, daughter," Anna whispered, approaching closer. The runes twisted, changed shape, ancient symbols whose meaning was lost in the ages. "This is something old, very old." The wolf set off, and the family followed him. He walked confidently, as if he knew every path in this cursed forest. The dark forest. The inhabitants of the White Cliffs avoided it, whispering about lost travelers, about strange voices in the thicket. Anna had always considered these grandmother's tales. Now she was unsure of anything. Before we begin, write from which city you are, subscribe, like, and watch until the end. We are starting. 3 days ago, life still made sense. Dimitri worked at the sawmill, earning pennies, but it was enough for bread and milk for the children. Anna worked part-time as a cleaner at school, modestly but honestly. And then that man came. Tall, in an expensive coat, with a face that expressed nothing. He introduced himself simply as Makar. Anna overheard the conversation in the kitchen when the children were asleep. "A debt is a debt, Dimitri." The stranger's voice was quiet, but there was steel in it. "Your father borrowed money, a lot of money." "My father died 5 years ago." Dimitri slammed his fist on the table. "What debt?" "Interest has accrued quite a bit." 200,000. Makar placed a yellowed receipt on the table. "Do you recognize the handwriting?" Dimitri paled. Anna saw his hands tremble as he took the paper. "I didn't know. Father never said anything." "Well, now you know. You have a week." "Or what?" Makar glanced towards the children's room. He said nothing, but it wasn't necessary. From that day on, Dimitri drank every evening. Vodka helped to drown out the fear but intensified his anger. He lashed out at Anna, shouted at the children, and yesterday evening, he completely lost his mind. "Get out," he screamed, throwing a plate at the wall. "It's all because of you. Family is a burden. Makar is right." "Dima, what are you saying?" Anna tried to hug him, but he pushed her away so roughly that she fell. "I need to think alone, without you." Sophia cried in the corner. Artyom hid under the table. Anna got up, wiped the blood from her broken lip, and quietly said, "Fine, we'll leave." She gathered the children, a few things. Outside, a blizzard raged, but there was nowhere to return. Dmitri locked himself in the bedroom, turned up the music full blast. And then they went into the forest. "Mom, will Dad find us?" Artyom lagged behind, his small feet sinking in the snow. Anna picked up her son. "I don't know, darling. And if he doesn't find us, then we'll find a new home," she lied, her voice trembling. The wolf stopped by a fallen tree, turned around. There was something like sympathy in its gaze. It approached Anna, gently touched her hand with its nose. The touch was warm, almost human. "He understands," whispered Sophia. "Right, Mom? He understands that we're sad." Anna nodded, not trusting her voice. There was something impossible about this beast, as if a human soul was trapped in a wolf's body. But whose, and why was he helping them? The path led to a small clearing. In the center stood a hut, crooked, ancient, but sturdy. Smoke curled from the chimney. The wolf sat by the porch, like a dog waiting for its master. The door creaked open, and an old man appeared on the threshold, with a gray beard down to his waist and eyes the color of a winter sky. Seraphim, the hermit. In the village, they said he had gone mad, talking to forest spirits. Anna had seen him only a few times, a tall figure at the edge of the forest, a staff in his hands, his gaze fixed on nowhere. "Well, hello, White One," the old man said, addressing the wolf. "Who did you bring?" The beast whimpered softly, nudging its nose towards Anna. "I see." Seraphim shifted his gaze to the family. "Lost, are we?" Anna hesitated. How to explain? "We have nowhere to go." "Nowhere, or no one?" The old man squinted. "Different things." Sophia stepped forward, fearlessly, like a child. "Grandpa, why is the wolf white, and why does he have sad eyes?" Seraphim chuckled. "Clever girl. Come in, we'll have tea. And let the White One stand guard." Inside the hut, it was warm, smelling of herbs and smoke. Seraphim bustled by the stove, pouring hot broth into mugs. The children huddled close to Anna, but gradually relaxed. "Grandpa," Artyom tugged at the old man's sleeve, "do you really talk to spirits?" "What do you think?" "Mom says there are no spirits." Seraphim looked at Anna. "Mom doesn't know many things. The forest is old, remembers everything, and protects those who deserve it." "What do you mean?" Anna clutched her mug. "The White One chose you. He doesn't save everyone." The old man sat opposite her, his eyes serious. "Tell me what happened." "The truth." Anna hesitated, then exhaled and told him everything, about Dmitri's father's debt, about Makar, about how her husband drove them out into the blizzard. Seraphim listened in silence, only nodding occasionally. When she finished, he was silent for a long time, staring into the fire. "Makar, then," he finally said. "I know him. It's not the first time people have disappeared in our parts after meeting him." "Disappeared?" Anna's blood ran cold. "Without a trace, as if the earth swallowed them." Seraphim stood up, walked to the window. "But the forest protects its own. And the White One, he's special." "Where is he from?" Sophia whispered. The old man turned, smiled mysteriously. "That's a long story, girl. Very long." That night, Anna couldn't sleep. The children slept soundly nearby on a wide bench, covered with sheepskins. Outside, the wind howled, but inside the hut, it was warm and safe. Seraphim sat by the stove, quietly humming something. The melody was strange, ancient, the words in an unfamiliar language. "Can't sleep?" he asked, without turning. "Thinking about my husband." Anna walked to the window. In the yard, the White One lay, not sleeping, ears alert. What happened to him? He used to be kind. Fear changes people. Seraphim stirred the coals with a poker. "Your Dmitri is afraid not only for himself, but for you. Makar knows how to scare. And you know him too well." The old man's voice darkened. "He's not just a collector. There's something wrong with him, something alien." Anna turned. "What do you mean?" Seraphim stood up, walked to an old chest in the corner, and took out something wrapped in dark cloth. He unwrapped it, an ancient talisman made of deer antler, covered with runes. "Take it, wear it around your neck." "Why?" "The forest will recognize its own." He put the cord around her neck. The talisman was warm, as if alive. "And strangers have no place here." Outside, a prolonged howl echoed. The White One raised its head, answered. The sound was almost human, full of longing and warning. "He senses danger," Seraphim whispered. "They'll be here soon." "Who?" But the old man was already extinguishing the fire in the stove, gathering things. "We're leaving now." They left the hut through the back window. Seraphim led them along forest paths known only to him. The White One walked ahead, a silent shadow gliding between the trees. "Grandpa, are we lost?" Artyom asked sleepily. "You won't get lost with the White One," Seraphim replied. "He knows the way better than anyone." An hour later, they came to a round clearing. In the center stood a huge oak, older than all the trees around. Its trunk was entirely covered with runes. They shimmered like living script. "This is it," Seraphim whispered. "The heart of the dark forest. A place of power." The White One approached the oak, lay at its roots, closed its eyes, as if praying. "What now?" Anna asked. "Now we wait." They didn't have to wait long. Half an hour later, the roar of engines was heard. 3 cars this time. Makar had brought reinforcements. They stopped at the edge of the clearing. 6 men got out of the cars, each with a weapon in hand. Makar walked ahead, his face grim. "Anna," he shouted. "Stop hiding. Come back to your husband." "I won't," she replied, stepping out from behind the oak. "I won't give up my children. Then we'll take them by force." Makar waved his hand. The men moved towards the clearing. And then the White One rose. He stood at his full height, fur bristling, eyes burning with yellow fire. A growl erupted from his chest, not a wolf's, but something else, ancient, terrifying. The men stopped. "It's just a wolf," Makar said, but his voice trembled. "Shoot." The first shot thundered like lightning. The bullet passed an inch from the White One, but he didn't even flinch. The second shot, the third. Not a single bullet hit its target. "What the hell?" hissed one of the shooters. The White One took a step forward, then another. His eyes glowed brighter and brighter, and the growl grew louder. And then the forest woke up. The branches of the oak came alive, reaching out to the armed men. The runes on the trunks of all the trees flared with blinding light. The ground beneath Makar and his men trembled. "What's happening?" shouted one of the shooters, looking around. Roots burst from under the snow, entwining the attackers' legs. Branches lashed at their faces, knocking weapons from their hands. The air filled with whispers, thousands of voices speaking a forgotten language. The White One stepped into the center of the clearing. With each of his movements, the light of the runes grew brighter. And suddenly Anna saw it, in the reflections of the magical light, another figure appeared around the wolf, a tall, strong man with kind eyes. "Beloyer." "I see him," Sophia whispered, clutching her mother's hand. "Mom, I see a man in the wolf." Makar tried to break free from the grip of the roots, but they only tightened. His face contorted in horror. "This is impossible," he screamed. "Magic doesn't exist." The White One, or Beloyer, approached him, stopped a step away, and spoke. The voice was wolfish, but the words were human. "You inflict pain on the innocent." Makar paled to a bluish hue. "You say, I remember the pain when my family was taken." Each word was difficult for Beloyer, as if he was relearning to be human. "Now I protect others. I need money." "It's business." "No, it's cruelty." The White One raised his muzzle to the sky and howled. The sound was full of ancient sorrow and indomitable power. The forest answered him with a chorus of voices, birdsong, rustling leaves, creaking trunks merged into a single melody. Makar's men, one by one, lost consciousness from fear. Weapons turned to dust in their hands. Only Makar himself still held on, but he too trembled like an aspen leaf. "Will you release the family? Forgive the debt?" The White One bowed his head, looking into Makar's eyes. "Or will you remain in the forest forever?" I can't just forgive the debt. I have superiors." "Then tell them the family disappeared without a trace." The roots released Makar. He fell to his knees, breathing heavily, looked at Anna, at the children, then back at the White One. "Fine," he exhaled. "Fine. There's no debt. I didn't see the family." The White One nodded. The light of the runes began to fade. The branches released the exhausted men. "Leave, and don't come back." Makar got up, helped his men to their feet. They were pale, bewildered, clearly not understanding what had happened. They silently walked to their cars, got in, and drove away. When the sound of the engines dissolved into the silence of the forest, the White One turned to Anna. In his eyes was human sorrow again. "You are free." His voice grew quieter, weaker. "The children are safe." "Thank you," Anna whispered, falling to her knees. "Thank you, Beloyer." The wolf approached her, allowed her to stroke his muzzle. His fur was soft, warm. "What will happen to you now?" Sophia asked. The White One looked at her with a long gaze. "I will wait for the next ones who need help. And us." Artyom ran up and hugged the wolf around the neck. "Will we see you again? If you need help, call. The forest will hear." He gently freed himself from the embrace. He turned and slowly walked into the thicket. At the edge of the clearing, he stopped, turned back. "Your Dmitri is waiting at home. He repents." The White One looked at Anna. "Forgive him. Fear makes people weak." And he dissolved among the trees, as if he had never existed. The journey home took 2 hours. Seraphim and Agafia accompanied them to the outskirts of the village, then waited at the edge of the forest. "If anything, call," Agafia said, hugging the children. "The forest is nearby, and the White One too." The house greeted them with light in the windows. Dmitri sat on the porch, despite the frost. When he saw them, he jumped up and ran to meet them. "Anna, forgive me." He fell to his knees in the snow, embracing her legs. "Forgive me, I was a fool, a coward." "Dima." Anna stroked his hair. What happened? Makar came. Said you disappeared. That the search was being called off. Dmitri raised his head, eyes red from tears. And I realized I had lost the most precious thing because of money, because of fear. Dad. Sophia and Artyom rushed to him. We love you. And I love you more than life. Dmitri hugged the children close. Forgive Dad, he was very silly. Anna sat down next to him, hugged the whole family. We're home, she whispered. We're all home. That evening, when the children were asleep, Dmitri and Anna talked for a long time. He told her about his fears, about how his father's debt had fallen on him like snow on his head. She told him about the forest, about the White One, about what happened in the clearing. Do you believe me? She asked. Dmitri took her hand in his. I believe you. Because you came back, and the children are safe. And that's a miracle. On the windowsill lay the talisman made of deer antler. The runes on it glowed faintly in the darkness. A month passed. Life in the White Cliffs flowed as usual. Dmitri quit drinking, got a new job as an assistant to the local veterinarian. They paid little, but the honestly earned money warmed his soul. Anna opened a small sewing workshop at home. Neighbors brought old clothes to be altered, torn ones to be mended. There was enough work. Sophia and Artyom often played at the edge of the forest, but they didn't go beyond the outskirts. Sometimes, at dusk, they saw a white shadow between the trees, waved their hands, shouted, "Hello, Beloyer." The shadow would stop, as if listening, then disappear. Rumors of what happened in the forest spread throughout the area, but people spoke cautiously, in hushed tones. Some believed, some shook their heads, but everyone noticed that since then, the dark forest had become quieter, calmer. Grigory, as the hermit was called in the village according to documents, occasionally visited them, telling the children fairy tales about adults, stories about how the forest lived its own life, helping the good and punishing the wicked. Is Beloyer still there? Sophia would ask. He's where he's needed, Seraphim would reply. He made a vow to protect the weak, and he will keep it as long as injustice exists. One spring day, a stranger knocked on their door. A young man with tired eyes and a frightened face. My name is Pavel, he said. I was told you know about someone who lives in the forest. I'm in trouble. I need help. Anna invited him in, poured him tea. Pavel told his story about how local bandits were threatening his family, demanding he give up his deceased father's house. I don't know what to do, he finished. The police do nothing, and I have a small son. Anna took the talisman from the windowsill, handed it to Pavel. Go into the forest, to the big oak in the deepest part of the thicket. Take this with you and call the White One. He will hear you. But how will I find him? He will find you himself, Anna smiled. The forest knows who needs help. Pavel left at sunset, and in the morning, rumors reached the village. The bandits who had terrorized the area had disappeared. Their car was found abandoned in the forest, empty, with no traces. Pavel returned on the third day, returned the talisman, thanked her, but gave no details, only saying, he exists, and he is just. Another 6 months passed. Summer turned to autumn, autumn to winter. Anna and Dmitri's family lived peacefully and happily. The children grew up, became stronger. Peace and love settled in their home. But sometimes, especially on snowy evenings, when the wind howled in the chimney, Anna would stand by the window and look at the forest, and she would see a white shadow wandering among the trees, a guardian, a protector, an avenging angel. Is he still there? Dmitri would ask, hugging his wife. Yes, Anna would whisper. And thank God. Because the world is full of makars, full of those who hurt the weak. And it's good that there's someone who watches over justice, even if that someone is a human soul in the body of a beast, even if his story sounds like a fairy tale. Fairy tales sometimes turn out to be true, especially in places where the forest remembers every tear, every injustice, and does not forgive. That night, when Anna last saw the White One, he stood at the edge of the forest and looked at their house. His gaze was calm, peaceful. The work was done. The family was saved. Justice had triumphed. Then he turned and dissolved into the snowy gloom. But Anna knew he was near, always near, waiting when his help was needed. And that knowledge warmed her better than any fire. Many years later, when Sophia and Artyom grew up and started their own families, they told their children the story of the White Guardian of the forest. The grandchildren listened with wide eyes, asking hundreds of questions. "Does he really exist, Grandma?" they would ask Anna. "What do you think?" she would reply, just as Seraphim had once answered. And the children would run to the window, peering into the forest thicket, hoping to see the white shadow among the trees. Sometimes they thought they saw it, and maybe they did. In the dark forest, the runes still glow on the ancient trunks, the leaves still whisper in a language older than human memory, and to this day, according to local residents, you can meet a white wolf with human eyes if you desperately need help, if there's nowhere else to turn, if justice is more important than fear. The forest remembers, the forest knows, and the forest protects. And Beloyer still keeps his vow. Thank you for watching. What do you think about this story? Share your impressions. Your comment is very valuable to us.